So today I'm going to make squash soup. These are Hubbard squashes. I have acorn squash, some butternut squash, some of these funky things that I forgot the name of, but they're really hard squash. I think they're supposed to be really big, but it's the end of the season, so there's some small ones. But you have to cook them because they're super hard. And then, what else do I have in here? Oh, another acorn squash. And this kind of thingamablobber. This was, I believe, the banana squash. Or, yeah, banana squash. And what else is in here? Oh, just more like little tiny butternut squashes. So anyway, I'm going to mix them all together and make a soup. Okay, so next, all I do is just start my pan. This is a pretty good sized pan. And I just put a little olive oil, well, I guess a lot of olive oil, in the bottom. Kind of coat the whole bottom. And then I turn my flame on to about a medium, I would say, medium high. Probably go down a little longer, a little lower. And then heat my pan, and then I'm going to throw all of my cut squash in there and just kind of heat it to a mush. And I'm going to add a little bit of water too as it cooks, because I keep the skin on and everything, so I get all the nutrients. So I have them all in the pot here. I'm going to cut up this last little Hubbard squash. I just want to mention that they're all going to cook at different times, so some are still going to be firm while others are really soft. But for me, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to cook them all super squishy anyway. I should be able just to squash them with a fork. And then I'm going to put it all in the blender. So I've never eaten a Hubbard squash before, but I'll say it is real soft inside, like a zucchini almost, whereas the acorn squashes are more firm. Definitely butternut squash is more firm. So by all means, I'm not a super chef. I like to cook my vegetables more natural, so I add a ton of herbs, not so much salt. If I do add like a stock, it's going to be a vegetable stock, and that does have a lot of salt in it. But because there's so many different kinds of squashes, I'm going to try just to make it a natural squash and see how it tastes. It's pretty much your preference. I like to add a lot of sage, cumin, turmeric, things like that. Definitely garlic. I'm heavy on the garlic. I love garlic. But I try to stay clear of the salts. And then for like kick, I'll add cayenne pepper. I like smoked paprika, things like that. But as far as like table salt, kosher salt, I really try not to add that to my soups. Alright, so give it an initial stir. And you'll see the ones on the bottom start to get like a little char on them if we could flip it over. Oh, not too bad. But they do kind of get a little crispy cooked, I guess. And then when it kind of dries out, you could add some water to it and just keep cooking it down, down, down. So after this initial stir, we'll put the lid on it. I set a timer for about 20 minutes at a time. And like I said, there's no exact science to it. It's just whenever they start getting soft and mushy, and I make sure kind of all of them do, because we end up blending it in the blender and then we put it back in the pot and we can add a little more spices. But at this point I'm just cooking down the actual squashes. I don't add the garlic or anything like that because garlic tends to burn and then it gets like a bitter taste. So right now it's just the olive oil and the zucchinis and squashes, and then after that you can add a little water as it cooks down, down, down. And then I've brought the temperature down to a very, very low simmer. That's it. Take off the lid. And you can see it has liquid in it still. But if it starts to get dry, that's when I start adding some water. You can see how they're kind of getting soft and tender. Soft and tender. And like I said, I don't really care. I don't need the consistency because the whole thing's going to get blended. So and over here, boil some pumpkin seeds. So it's getting dry. Just add a cup of water. Okay, so we're pretty much boiled down. There's the skins, but I think those will grind up in the blender. That's kind of the consistency I'm looking for before I blend it. And it's kind of sweet, so I'm just going to add garlic and then see how that tastes. If I want to go more savory route, I might just add a little sage and maybe some rosemary. I'm kind of digging the way it's tasting, just like this. Okay, so I started to blend it in the blender. You can see big chunks of the skin. So then I brought it over to my Ninja and it looks more smooth. So I think it's best to put it in the Ninja, and that was only like 10 seconds in my Ninja. Yeah, there's the difference. Smooth and little chunks. So this is the finished product. It's basically just the base, and then you can add whatever spices that you want. You can do like a chicken stock or vegetable broth, sage. I kind of like it. It's a little bit sweet, so I'm gonna probably keep my portion of this like this, and then my daughter will probably add vegetable broth and sage and things like that. But I'm kind of digging the natural taste of this. But it's just a basic base, and like I said, you can add anything else you like. I forgot about the leeks. So I'm putting down some leeks, and I will put them in the Ninja as well and put them on top of the squash.